Yo, yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Fro, and today I'm gonna be doing my first music review on this channel. I usually focus on movies and games, but today we're gonna kick it off with the Dogg Pound's new album, W.A.W.G, which stands for We All We Got. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. First up, we got the intro, which I thought was dope. We got Snoop talking some fly shit over a smooth backdrop. And I like the beat a lot. Snoop isn't rapping or nobody's rapping on the intro, but it's a really nice introduction to start rolling up your blunt to get it ready for the rest of the duration of the album. So I did like the intro. Next up, we got the first single that came out called Smoke Up, which I thought was cool. Like, the beat to me isn't extraordinary. And I do like the Snoop hook a lot. DPGC, Nick, we woke up. Somebody said the Dogg Pound broke up. I do like the hook. The hook is pretty dope. And this is when I run into one of my bigger nitpicks and problems with the album. This is coming from somebody who's a big fan of Corrupt at his best. When Corrupt is snapping, he's easily one of my favorite MCs of all time. But on this album, We All We Got, coming from an honest perspective, I think this is Corrupt's weakest effort to date. Like, almost 90 or 95% of it, this whole album, I was waiting for Corrupt to spaz, and I just didn't get it until the very last song, which I'm gonna get to later. I would say for the most part, Daz sounds a bit stronger out of the two. Next up, we have track 3, the title track, We All We Got, featuring the East Siders. And I really enjoyed this one. I thought the beat was dope. Again, I like the Snoop hook, heavy, hard hitters. I like the hook a lot. I think Big Trey D damn near steals the show. He's probably my favorite verse on this song. Daz sounds good, but again, I'm pretty disappointed in Corrupt's performance. Track 4 is a joint called I'm a Dog, which I do like the beat a lot, but I feel like the hook and the song for the most part is pretty messy when it comes to the mixing. I'm a dog, 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 and it just, again, I like the beat for the song. I think the drums are hitting, but all over the place for me. Track 5 is a song called Need Some Space, featuring a guy named Blast. Coming from somebody who usually likes these vibey kind of tracks that you can cruise into the whip, I didn't care too much for Blast's chorus or the hook. I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it, didn't love it, and that's how I felt for the song overall. Track 6 is another single that the Dogg Pound dropped called Favorite Color Blue. And I didn't care too much for this one either. I think the hook just throws me off a bit. My favorite color's blue. Like, I'm not making fun of the color blue. Just, this song wasn't it for me. I didn't care for it. Track 7 is a song called Inside of Her. And this is probably my least favorite, if not second to least favorite song on the whole album. I just think it's awkward. The title's awkward. Butch Cassidy's hook is super awkward. This is a joint that I can't really bump in the whip, and I can easily see myself skipping over this track if I ever gave this album another revisit. Track 8, we have a song called House Party, and I really enjoyed this one. I thought the beat was really funky and groovy, made me feel reminiscent of the 90s and that era. It's very simple. In fact, there's not much rapping on it. The same other 4 bars are getting repeated throughout the whole song, but it feels good. You know, I really like the vibe of this song. This is a standout for me and one of my favorites on the album. Next up, we have a song called After Hours featuring DaBaby and Butch Cassidy. And for the most part, this one's okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. The beat is nice. This is a decent cruise around track, but this is one that I wouldn't really immediately revisit for sure. It's okay. But yo, track 10 is easily my least favorite song on this project. It's LA Kind of Love. And this beat is horrible. It sounds like a really lame attempt at something pop, if you will, or radio. It sounds like an instrumental that Corey Feldman would hop on. And I don't mean that as a compliment at all. In my opinion, this is a song that I wish the Dogg Pound completely stayed away from. Next song is a track called Grown Up, track 11, which I did like, and it was nice to hear the Dogg Pound on their more introspective sense, and them talking about their upbringing and the mistakes that they had to go through, etc. So this one I did like. As we get close to the finale, track 12 is a song called The Weekend featuring Jane Hancock and October London. And Jane Hancock has a very nice hook here, and I'm starting to like more of her vocals the more that I come across her work, especially in recent years. One of my favorite beats on the project also, very laid back and smooth, really nice to smoke one up to. The Weeknd, I like this one. Track 13 is a song called Always on My Mind. And this one I wanted to love because I can relate to the subject matter. Dogg Pound is reminiscing on their loved ones that have passed on. And again, it's relatable. But I didn't love the beat, don't really care for the hook. And it was just a song that I can skip through for sure. Wanted to love it, didn't like it. And closing it up with track 14, our last song. It's easily my favorite on the whole album, Who the Hardest, featuring the W.A.W.G and RBX, produced by my favorite producer of all time, DJ Premier. So this was a big treat for me. It was really nice to hear W.A.W.G, who's my favorite female MC of all time, personally, but she bodies this track, absolutely tears it apart. Awesome Rage verse, great Corrupt verse. This is the Corrupt that I wanted this whole project. Corrupt felt half asleep this whole fucking album, and when the Who the Hardest came on, I was jumping out of my seat. I was like, yes, this is the Corrupt I want to hear. He snapped on this track. This is easily one of my favorite Corrupt verses of all time, and definitely my favorite in recent years. But putting my favorite performances in order, I would have Rage at number 1, Corrupt at number 2, Snoop at number 3, RBX at 4, and Daz at 5. Now, Daz does put in a decent effort on his track. I do like his voice and his flow and the bounce, but lyrically, Rage and Corrupt steal the show. And RBX, I love his voice. Very grimy, raspy, makes you want to punch out a window in a good way, but Rage and Corrupt. And also one of my favorite Primo productions in the past few years. But that's it, y'all. That's my review on W.A.W.G, Tha Dogg Pound's new album. So my standouts for this project are the intro, W.A.W.G, House Party, The Weeknd, and Who the Hardest. Those are my 5 favorite tracks out of 14. Overall, I didn't love the album like I wanted to. There's a couple misses here and there for me. But the fact that I got an awesome DJ Premier produced Dogg Pound track on here that also happens to be my favorite on the album, that made me quite happy. That made me want to jump out of my seat. But for the most part, the other half of the album, I wasn't a big fan of, and I wanted more. I wanted a little bit better production, and Corrupt to step up his game with the pen. In the last song, he snaps. I had a great time with his verse on the very last song, but the other 13 songs, I was waiting for Corrupt. I'm like, come on, OG. And again, Daz still sounds pretty good for the most part. I felt like he could have been a little bit better with the pen as well. And I actually thought Snoop was a bit on the stronger side whenever he pops up on the project. On my first listen, I'm going to have to give W.A.W.G a light 6 out of 10. And that's it, y'all. It's your boy Fro. What do you think about this album? Did you love it more than I did? Did you not like it so much? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, between time, I'm on to the next review. Fro, let's go.